The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
This is your captain speaking, and on behalf of me and the entire crew of Flight 316, we would like to thank you for flying with Studio Adventure Airlines. On this flight, we will be making stops in Italy, Japan, and Mexico, with our final destination being the return to the good old USA. At each stop, you will be given an opportunity to enjoy just a bite at one of the local favorite restaurants. You will also visit the capital city's Welcome Center, where you will learn interesting but sometimes odd facts about that country that will have you wondering, is that for real? Get out of here! Also included in each stop will be the time to take a favorite movie in of missionaries from long ago that answered the call. So we would ask that this time that you make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position and that your seat belt is correctly fastened. Also, your portable electronic device should be placed in airplane mode until the announcement is made upon arrival. So thank you for joining us, and sit back and enjoy the flight.
Hello?
Now it's time for... Is that for real? Did you know Mexico is one of the largest countries in the world? It is located on the continent of North America, bordering the United States to the north and Guatemala and Belize to the south. It is one of the only few countries with more coastline than land borders. It is a country of high mountains, deep canyons, sweeping deserts, and dense rainforest. The Mexican flag shows 3 bands in green, white, and red. The emblem on the white shows an eagle standing on a cactus with a snake in its beak. The colors in the Mexican flag stand for independence, unity, and religion. The capital city of Mexico is Mexico City. It has the 2nd highest number of museums in the world and was the first city to host the Football World Cup twice. One notable fact is that the city is slowly sinking at a rate of 10 inches per year. This is because the city was built on a lake, and the city pumps draw water from this lake. Roman Catholic is the most common religion affiliation in Mexico. In a survey carried out between July and August of 2018, almost 81% of the Mexican population claimed to be of Catholic faith. Now here's a fascinating fact. The longest and largest underwater cave system in the world is found in Mexico. Also, the monarch butterfly migrates to Mexico every year by the millions from the US and Canada. They settle in the country during the winter, where you can watch these stunning creatures in their natural habitat at butterfly sanctuaries close to Mexico City. And this may come as a surprise. Mexico City holds the Guinness World Record for the number of people kissing at the same time. Wow. A few more surprising facts. Did you know the Chichen Itza Pyramid in Mexico is one of the new 7 wonders of the world? Also, mariachi, the popular form of folk music, originates from Mexico. The mariachi band typically features at least 4 musicians. Traditional mariachi instruments include the violin, a large bass guitar, and a small 5-string guitar with a round back. They also usually include trumpets and sometimes harps. Here's an interesting story. Believe it or not, nachos were invented in Mexico for Americans by an American restaurateur named Nacho. One day, when Nacho was without his chef, he needed to rustle up a quick snack for a group of U.S. military wives who were in town. So grabbing what he could find in the kitchen, he fried tortillas and served them warm with grated cheese and jalapeno peppers. The popularity of the dish swiftly spread throughout Texas and the Southwest USA. Nachos, as we know them today, are truly a Tex-Mex dish. Are you a chocolate fan? You have the people of ancient Mexico to thank for that. The Aztecs actually refer to hot chocolate as the drink of the gods. Cacao beans were used as a form of currency, valuing them more precious than gold. Mexico was also the first to use tomatoes as food. Did you know Mexico gave the world popcorn, chilies, and color television? Also included in the list of Mexico's contributions to the world is the Mastretta MXT car. Bullfighting and rodeo. What is the most popular sport played in Mexico, you ask? The answer? Soccer, called football in Mexico. Interested in crawling cuisine? Stroll through any market in Mexico City and you'll find spiders, grasshoppers, snakes, and even scorpions, all up for sale to eat. Some find this horrifying, but adventurous foodies can discover all sorts of excellent grub in Mexico markets and street food stands. Take a look at some of the animals unique to Mexico. The pygmy spotted skunk, the banana bat, the Guadalupe fur seal, and the Cozumel raccoon, just to name a few. The rainforests of eastern Mexico are home to many tropical plant species and animals like the jaguar and the quetzal birds. Finally, and this is my favorite, when English is translated to Spanish, your text is likely to be 15 to 25% longer. The reason for this? Spanish is more detailed, poetic, and expressive. It uses more words to describe some things the English language would probably sum up in just one word. In Mexico, kids don't often get many presents on Christmas Day, but instead, they save the gift giving for Three Kings Day. Now that's something that will make you wonder, is that for real?
So our first stop today is for Just a Bite. We are in Mexico and we are going to enjoy some nachos, and I'm going to show you how to make some nachos. It's a really simple recipe that I have, and you can do it great when you come home from school. It will be something really simple to do. So you'll need a few simple ingredients. You will need some chicken, and I have purchased some that's already been cooked from the grocery store. It's called Shortcuts, and we've just chopped up our chicken just a bit. You'll need some cheese, and I prefer the blend, the Mexican blend of cheese. You'll also need some Tostitos. I like the hint of lime. I think the lime makes it so delicious. Then we're going to have some jalapenos. That's kind of if you want to or if you don't. Some sour cream and some salsa, of course. What recipe would be complete without the salsa, right? So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to open our chips. And first of all, let me remind you, the very first thing you need to do, boys and girls, is to wash your hands. Now I have already washed my hands, and you're going to have to take my word for that. We're going to take some chips, and we're going to just lay them out carefully, like this. And it depends on how many you're going to serve, as to how many we'll put in. This we're just going to serve 3 people, and we're going to do a stingy serving. So let's do this. And after we've laid our nachos out, we are going to put some chicken on. Just a little bit, like that. The next thing we're going to add is the cheese. I love the cheese, boys and girls. It's one of my favorite parts. We're just going to generously coat our chips and chicken with the cheese. Do you think that's enough? I think so. All right. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to put it in the microwave. We're going to microwave it for about 30 seconds, just so the cheese will melt. It may take a hint longer, but you'll keep an eye on it. Put it in for 30 seconds and then check it. All right, let's go to the microwave. I think it looks delicious, and I'm kind of hungry. So now what we're going to do, and you don't have to do this, this is optional, but these are some little jalapeno pepper slices. Looks like this. I think that's kind of what makes it Mexican. So we're going to put just a little bit on there. leave you, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to leave part of it without them on there, just for people like me who really aren't into spicy things so much. But we'll put that on there. Then we're going to open the salsa and stir it around a little bit. And I'm just going to drizzle just a bit over the tacos. I mean, over the nachos, excuse me. All right. And we're going to leave the sour cream in the dish. And we're just going to use that for dipping. I think we're ready to get started, boys and girls. Let me try it. Let's see. This. A little dip of sour cream. Boys and girls, that is delicious. Go and make yourself some nachos and have a great day.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Natalie Echeverri. I think by now you guys should know how to pronounce my last name. 26 years old. I'm from Colombia. I've been around. This is my 4th Sunday with you all, so pretty excited to be back. Fun fact that you guys didn't hear on the other 3 Sundays. I grew up as a missionary kid in Africa, and I've been in 15 countries. So that's a fun fact. Right now, he's like my little brother, and I'll tell you more in a while. This is my friend. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and I'm going to be translating again, okay? So, amigo, ¿cuál es tu nombre, edad y de qué país vienes?
Hola, mi nombre es Juan, tengo 17 años y soy de Colombia.
Hi, my name is Juan, I'm 17 years old and I'm from Colombia.
Y estoy muy emocionado de estar acá porque en verdad quiero impactar sus vidas y poder alegrarles este día.
And I'm very excited to be here because I truly want to impact your lives and to be able to share some joy and happiness with you all. Cool, Juanito. You can call him Juanito. That's how I call him, okay? This is a fun thing that we need to share. Necesitamos contarles de nuestra infancia. We come from the same high school in Bogota, in Colombia. And actually I met him when he was this tiny. He was more blonde, and like his eyes were lighter, and he was so cute. He was such a cute child. And yeah, he's a cute child still. Okay, Juan, I'm gonna be asking Juan some questions as we did on the other Sundays, okay? So, what was it like growing up in Colombia? What does it look like to be a child in Colombia, specifically, I guess, in Bogota, where you grew up? Entonces, ¿cómo luce ser un niño en Bogotá? ¿Cómo es crecer en Colombia? ¿Cómo es la infancia en Colombia?
Bueno, pues la verdad, crecer en Colombia es algo que depende de tu familia, ¿sí?
Well, growing up in Colombia depends on your family, on the family you have.
Entonces, si tienes una familia con bastante dinero, puedes ir al colegio muy fácil.
So, if you have a family with like enough resources, you can go easily to school.
Pero si no, tu familia no tiene bastante dinero, pues es difícil poder entrar.
But if your family does not have resources, like minimal resources, you can't go to school.
Pero en cuanto al entorno, es muy divertido porque puedes socializar en tu barrio y en tu propio conjunto.
But it's very fun because like in the environment, like neighborhoods are really close, like the houses are very near to each other, so you have like lots of friends and you can play with them there.
Sí, es así. Es muy divertido.
Yeah, it is like that. It's very fun. Yeah, it's fun growing up in Colombia. Okay, Juanito, I have another question. What was the moment, when was the moment you realized you needed Jesus to save you? Like you needed him as a personal savior. ¿Cuándo fue ese momento que tú dijiste, ya necesito a Jesús en serio, necesito que me salve?
Yo creo que fue hace 1 o 2 años cuando...
I think it was a year or 2 years ago.
Cuando me di cuenta que mi vida estaba siendo un sí y un no.
When I realized my life was just being like yes and no.
Iba a la iglesia, pero actuaba como una persona del mundo.
I was going to church but acting as a worldly person.
Entonces me contradecía con mis palabras, con mis acciones.
So I was not being congruent with my actions and words.
Y pues así he crecido toda mi vida.
And that's how I grew up my whole life.
Es eso.
Yeah. So, ¿cuándo sentiste que tuviste un encuentro con Jesús? So what I'm asking is, when did he feel like he had an encounter with Jesus?
El verdadero encuentro,
The real encounter.
yo creo que fue hace unos meses acá en Estados Unidos.
I think it was only a couple of months ago here in the States with YWAM.
Porque en verdad vi a Dios y vi cómo Él me ama y me perdona de todo lo que he hecho.
Because I truly was able to see God and see how He loves me and truly forgives me of everything I've done.
Y sí le importamos, sí le importo yo, sí le importa a cada uno de ustedes.
And that He truly cares. He cares about me and He cares about each one of you.
Entonces yo creo que fue hace unos pocos meses.
Yeah, so I think it was only a couple of months ago. That's very awesome and I'm very glad it happened. Muy contenta que pasó. Una última pregunta, one last question. Why are you doing missions? Like because I know he has done missions in other places, in Colombia and even the Amazon, I think, right? Or Cuba?
Santa Marta.
Oh, yeah, North Colombia. So he has done missions, but what's the motivation behind being a missionary? Like, why are you doing this? Entonces, ¿por qué está haciendo misiones? Sé que hiciste como misiones en Colombia un poco, cuéntanos un poquito como de las misiones en Colombia, de lo que has hecho, pero ¿cuál es la motivación detrás de ser misionero?
Ok, pues yo comencé en un grupo de misiones.
Well, I started in this missionary group.
Íbamos a fundaciones, a ayudar a niños.
We would go to NGOs and like help like children in orphanages and stuff.
Íbamos a alegrarles el día.
We were like just trying to make their day better.
Porque eran niños que no tenían una familia establecida.
Because they didn't have like a well-grounded family. Like those were the kind of kids we were working with.
Entonces íbamos como payasos y hacíamos obras de teatro.
So we would go and make a lot of skits and we would dress as clowns and stuff.
Y pues era muy divertido porque ellos se reían junto a nosotros y nosotros podíamos compartir un poco de Dios.
So that was very fun because they would like laugh with us and we were able to share about God with them.
Y pues a raíz de eso me empecé a motivar al ver tantas sonrisas juntas. Cada día me emocionaba más por ir.
And every single day, after every single time I got to serve there, I was just very happy and I think got more contagious, expecting more smiles. Like that was my motivation. I just wanted to see them happy.
Sí, así ha sido. O sea, ver a un niño sonreír es el amor de Dios
Like,
a través del niño.
Truly seeing a child smiling, like that's when you get to see God's love.
Así.
Yeah, so ¿cuál es la motivación de hacer misiones ahora? What's the motivation behind doing missions today? When you're a missionary today, what is it that is in your heart?
Ok, yo creo que en este momento la motivación
I think that right now the motivation
es poder dar a conocer lo que yo he aprendido.
is to be able to get to share what I've learned.
Porque en verdad sé que lo que yo he aprendido a cada uno de ustedes le puede servir.
Because now I know that the things that I've learned can like actually work for some of you who are listening.
Y pues me interesa eso, no quiero ser un egoísta al no dar lo que yo tengo.
And I do not want to be a selfish person when I'm not giving out or not sharing with the things that I have.
Y ser misionero implica dar lo que tú tienes a otros que más lo necesitan.
And being a missionary actually means like to be able to share what you have with those who need it more than you do.
Y darlo con amor, porque Dios lo puso en ti, fue por algo, por una razón específica.
And to give it out with love, because God put that in you for a specific reason.
Y pues la motivación es poder ver una sonrisa, no solo en los niños, también en los adultos, porque ha pasado muchas veces en este viaje.
And the motivation is not only to me to see a child smiling or something, but also to see the smiles in grown-ups. That has happened a lot during this trip.
Y pues Dios es el que cada día motiva más y más a poder ayudar a iglesias o fundaciones o en cualquier grupo.
And I think God has been the one who has given us the motivation and like the encouragement every single time now here to work with NGOs and like churches, like to serve them and serve people. Yeah, I'm so proud of him. He's like a little brother to me, and yeah, and we get to learn a lot from him. He's only 17. He's out here. He's doing his part. So Very proud of you, Juanito. Love you so much, and hope you guys got to enjoy today.
After being tossed about on an angry sea for weeks, Paul and the rest of the waterlogged and weary passengers dragged themselves from the wreckage of their ship onto the shores of an island called Malta. The friendly people of the island built a fire for the tired travelers to warm themselves. Wanting to be helpful, Paul left the group in search of sticks to add to the fire. When he returned to the group on the beach, he put his bundle of sticks on the fire. Unfortunately, Paul didn't realize that he had gathered more than sticks. As soon as Paul's bundle hit the fire, a poisonous snake that had gotten mixed up with the sticks sprung from the flames and bit Paul on his hand. The islanders saw a venomous viper hanging from Paul's hand and said, "To have survived a shipwreck only to be bitten by a snake means that this man must be a horrible person. This must be punishment for his terrible crimes." But Paul wasn't being punished. In fact, he was about to show the islanders the mighty power of God. Paul raised his hand over his head and then swung his arm down. In one quick motion, Paul shook the snake off his hand, flinging the viper into the fire. Paul took a seat by the fire among the islanders and other shipwreck survivors. Their eyes trained on Paul. Everyone around the fire sat waiting for him to swell up and die from the poison. After a long time had passed, they realized that Paul was unharmed. The islanders, shocked that Paul had survived, changed their minds and declared, "He must be a god." Near the place where the shipwreck survivors had gathered lived Publius, the chief man of the island. Publius graciously welcomed Paul and his companions as guests to his nearby estate. Publius showed them incredible hospitality for 3 days. Publius' father was gravely ill with a high fever. When Paul heard this news, he went into the man's room and prayed that he would be healed. Paul laid his hands on Publius' sick father, and the illness instantly left the man. He was healed. When the people of Malta heard about this miracle, they brought their sick to Paul, who healed them all. Publius honored Paul and his companions and gave them everything they would need as they continued their journey to Rome.
When we answer God's call, we must be obedient to his voice and go where he sends us. I'm sure Paul had no idea that there was such a great opportunity ahead of him to share the message of the gospel. He was probably thinking more like, wow, this is a disaster. But God promised to be with him, and as he allowed him to use him and to be in charge, he was used to bring healing to many. And because of the healings that took place, many came to know God in a personal way. We don't always understand why things happen to us, things that are unexpected and many times uncomfortable. But Romans 8:28 tells us we know that all things work together for the good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. I encourage you to answer the call and trust God to work all things to his good. We're going to bow our heads and pray, and we're going to ask God to help us this week. Father in heaven, thank you so much for putting your call on our life. And thank you for promising to be with us when we answer that call to always work things to the good. I ask you to be with the boys and girls today, and as they answer your call, that they will feel your presence and know that you are with them. And no matter how unlikely or uncomfortable it may be, that you are working all things to the good. In the name of Jesus, we ask these things. Amen. Thanks for joining us, boys and girls. Until next time, go and make disciples.
This is your captain speaking once again. And on behalf of myself and my crew of Flight 316 on Studio Adventures Airlines, we'd like to thank you for joining us and hope that you come back again. Until then, go into all the world and make disciples.